Hey everybody, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is that you're doing your video. I hope you're having a good one. We're going to quickly go through our video notes, and first we're going to start with our definitions. And all the things we're going to be talking about today are different types of transformation. So all these, translation, reflection, rotation, dilation, all of those are different types of transformation. So these are what a transformation is, and let's just define that. It's taking a shape, line, or sometimes just a point, or sometimes a point, and moving it in some way. So, taking a shape, line, or sometimes a point, and moving it in some way. And yes, I know you can see my beautiful handwriting. I'm a numbers guy, so sometimes my writing of words is not beautiful, but there you go. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is translation, and I want you to underline SL on this one because that's the way you remember it. And this is when we slide a figure up, down, right, or left. And sometimes we do more than one of these. Like it'll say take the shape and move it 3 units up and 4 units right, or whatever. So a lot of times we do 2 of these to these different shapes when we do that. So that's what a translation is. Okay, now the second one we're doing is a reflection. And what you need to underline for reflection is FL. And I know you've heard this before, but just an easy way to remember it. So this is when we take a shape and we flip it. So that's what the FL stands for, flip. And I'm going to write flipping a shape or a line. It could just be a line too. But flipping a shape over an axis. So you can flip it over the X or Y axis. We'll put that in parentheses, X or Y. Or sometimes you're just asked to flip it over a line. Sometimes they also say the words horizontal and vertical. So when we work with this, sometimes we got to know those words. So let's write that down here. So horizontal, don't get too blurry on me. Horizontal is left and right. Okay, horizontal, and that's the X-axis. So write that down. And then vertical. Well, if you've ever heard the phrase vertical leap, that's up and down, so that's our y-axis. So sometimes we're asked to reflect the shape over one of those axes. Okay? The next one we're going to be doing is a rotation, and a rotation is where you spin a shape. Okay, and it's either clockwise, which means the way a clock goes, or counterclockwise, which is the opposite way of the clock. So think about the way a clock goes, just counterclock means the opposite way. And when we do that, we're going to spin a shape clockwise or clockwise or counterclockwise, and it's usually by a degree measurement. So it's by a degree measurement when we do that, okay? So you might be told to rotate a shape 90 degrees clockwise. They're in the gym, I think. You're looking for Miss Nibby? Yeah. So you might be told to rotate a shape 90 degrees clockwise, or 180 degrees, or 270 degrees. Okay, so those are things that you might hear. The next one, dilation. Dilation, if you think about your eyes, when they dilate, the pupil either gets bigger or smaller. So that's when we take a shape and we make it. So making a shape larger or smaller based on a scale factor. So making a shape larger or smaller based on a scale factor. So if they said the scale factor is 2, well then you're going to make every line twice as long as it was before. Or if they said we're going to use a scale factor of 1/2, well then every every side of that shape is going to be half the size of the old one. And we're going to move it around the coordinate plane. Okay, the next thing is what we call prime. Okay, and prime is when we take a shape and we make it a new one. Well, it's the symbol that we use to indicate the new shape. And it kind of looks like an apostrophe or a yeah, it looks like an apostrophe. That's exactly what it looks like. So in parentheses, we're just going to make one of those because that's really what it looks like right there. Okay. And the last thing again, scale factor. Well, this is the number used to make a shape greater or larger, to make a shape bigger or smaller. Okay, so it's a number used to make a shape bigger or smaller. And again, whenever you have a scale factor and you have points, you're just going to multiply all those points by the scale factor and get your new shape, even if it's a fraction. So those are your definitions. And then what you're going to do is you're going to flip over your paper. And as we do these next problems, I would suggest using a marker because it's easier to see them when you do this. Or, and I'm going to use a bunch of different markers. Or just make sure you're using a dark pen or something, just so you can see everything we do better. And you won't have to flip this paper over backwards and forth. I'll do it, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So I'll do all the graphing. So the first one it says to do, it says translate the triangle formed by points A, which -6, 5 is the first one. So -6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the first point. And again, this is point A. The next one is -5, 9, so that's up here. Okay, and that's point B. And then the third point is -8, 8, so -8, +8. Let's make sure we get on the right line here. Looks like it's right there. And that's point C. And that's our triangle, so go ahead and connect your dots. It looks like I put that A right in the way, but so that's what your triangle looks like. And the transformation we're going to do this one is a translation, translate, so we're going to slide it. And it says to slide it 3 units up and 6 units left. So all you have to do is take each point and go 3 up and 6 left and put your new point there. So we're going to start with point A. So up 3 from here, 1, 2, 3, and then left 6. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, puts us right there. So that's going to be our new A, and this is where we're going to use that symbol prime. We're going to put A with a little apostrophe up there below it or above it, and that tells us where the new point A is. And that's how we're just going to be able to tell. Okay, and now from here I have a few different options. I can just redraw this triangle the way it is by counting how I get from A to C. So I could go left 2, up 3. So left 2, up 3 puts me right there. So that's where my new point C would be. So C prime. And then point B, if I want to get to that one from point C, I go up 1 and 1, 2, 3 right. So up 1 and then right 3 is my new B. So B prime. And my triangle looks like this. Okay, and again, I translated that triangle 3 units up and 6 units left. And it should look exactly the same. The triangle should not look different when you get done. Because all we did was slid this, basically. We just took it, we didn't turn it or spin it, we just moved it up and moved it left. Okay? Alright, second problem is translate the line, and this is just 2 points to make a line, -12, 5, so the first one, -12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. Okay, and it tells us is point D. And the next point is -8, 7. So -8 up to 7, which is right about there. -8 up to 7, and that's point E. So that line is right there. And all we're going to do is translate this line now. Okay? And anyway, we're just going to follow the same exact rule we just did before. It says we're going to translate it 9 units up and 13 units right. So from here, I'm going to go up 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. and then 13 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 puts me right there. And again, that's the new point for D, so I'm going to put D prime. Now, if I want, I can count E again the same way, or I can just figure out what this line looks like. So if I want to go from point D to point E, I go up 2 and right 4. So from here, I'm just going to go up 2 and right 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's my new E. So I put E prime, and then I just draw that line. And I've now translated that line, okay? All right, so for the new thing we're going to do, I'm going to use a different color pen. So we're going green pen for the reflections, okay? So, first one, reflect the quadrilateral formed by points, and the points are 3 up to 18, which, where's that one? 318 is up here. Okay. 420, which is way up here. Whoops, sorry, 420. So there's my first two. Okay. The next one is 617. So 6. Okay, and then up to 17. I think is right there. Let's hope so. So over 6, up 17. Yep, that's 17. And then the last one is 720. So 7 and up to 20 puts me up here at the very top. Okay, and that's my shape. Okay, and I didn't write the letters of those, but we'll do that real quick. So the first one we did was 318, and that was point F. Okay, I'll zoom in, get close here for you. F420 was this one here, and that was G. The 617 was H, and then 720 was I. So there's my shape. Okay. Ooh, arm's getting tired. I'm holding the camera. Okay. And now it tells me that I want to reflect this shape across the Y or vertical axis. So that means it's got to actually go from here over this way. Okay, it actually has to cross it. That's what it means to flip it over that. The Y axis, the vertical axis, the one going up and down. So that means as far as every point is from the Y axis on this side, I'm going to move it to the other side the same distance. So I'm going to start with point F, which is 3 away this way. So I'm going to move it 3 away this way. So there's my new F, so F prime. G is 4 away, so that means it's right here, G prime. Okay, J is 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm sorry, that's I, but it's 7 away, so it's 7 this way, so that means J would be right here, J prime. And then the H is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away to the right of the y-axis. So I'm going to do 6 away from the left. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 puts it right there. And that's point H prime. And now I just draw my lines to connect them. And that should look like a reflection. So if I could fold this paper over in half, this one should match that one perfectly if I flipped it over. So that's how that one works, okay? All right, next, reflect the quadrilateral formed by the points, and I'll just start them down here. So we got -3, -5 is right here, and that is point J. J. Point K is at -2, -13, so way down here. Where's -13? Right there. So that's point J. I'm sorry, that's point K, my fault, point K. The next one is point L, which is at 0, which again, if you have 0 first, that means don't go left or right, and then -4. And the reason we're doing this one, you'll see here in a minute. And then the last one is 2, 7. So 2, 7. So it's on the opposite side, and that is point M. Okay? Now, it tells me to flip this one over the x-axis, okay? So I have my shape here. I draw my lines. All right. And if I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis, which is this one here, it's going to move up this way, okay? It's got to go over that. So I'm going to do the same thing. Here's 0, negative 4. This first point is 4 away from the origin here. So I'm going to put it 4 away right there. So that's point J prime. Okay. Point K, which is, I'm sorry, that was point, what point is that? 0, negative 4. That was L, sorry. So L prime. Okay, this one right here, again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So I'm going to put 5 the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's that one right there. And that's J prime. The next one was this one right here, M, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. Puts it right there, M prime. And the very last one, which, I mean, we could count it all, but look, it's 13 down here at negative 13, so it's 13 this way. So I just go up here, 13. My point should be right there. And that is where K prime is. And then I just connect my dots as well as I can while holding a video camera. Okay, and as you see, if I zoom out here, you should see they look the same if I took this one and flipped it up there, okay? All right, so that's done. All right. All right, so if you want to take a break at this point, that's up to you. I can't stop the video, but maybe you want to take a break and get yourself a drink or something. We got 4 more to go, and we're going to try to get through them as quick as we can. So the next one we're doing is a rotation. So it says rotate the triangle formed by the points 0, 0. So there's 1 point. Negative 4, 1. So negative 4, 1 is right here. And the last point for that one is negative 2, 3. So my triangle looks like this. Okay, and my points that I just did, well, this was X, negative 4, 1 was Y, and this was Z. Okay, and now I got to really be careful of the reading I do here. That's what it should look like. It says rotate the triangle formed by the points 90 degrees, which, do me a favor, right here, just put a degree sign there. 90 degrees counterclockwise. That means the opposite way that a clock goes. And your quadrants are broken up into 90 degrees. So what we want to do is we want to move this one counterclockwise over here. Okay? So if I do that, I want all of these to go the same direction around to here. And a good way to do this is just to take your points and just change the actual where they are, okay? And that'll make more sense here when I do this. So this one right here, since we're reflecting around the origin, that one's going to stay the same. So that one won't change. But this one right here, that's at negative 4, positive 1, is going to come over here to negative 1, negative 4. So it's going to come right to here, okay? So if you see, it's, this one was over 4, up 1. Well, this is down 4, left 1. Okay, same thing with this one here. It's currently up over 2, up 3. So to rotate that, okay, I'm going to draw my line right here. Okay, to rotate that, we're basically going to do the opposite with those numbers. So instead of going over 2, up 3, we're going to go down 3 over 2. I'm sorry, down 2 over 3, which puts it right there. Okay. So now I've got point Z prime, which is that one, Y prime, which is this one, and this, where it's X and the new X prime, we're going to write X equals X prime, because they're the same point. Okay, so that's a rotation, which is probably one of the more difficult ones. We'll get to more of those in class. Okay, next, the last one for rotations is we're going to rotate the shape formed by the points negative 12, 2, and I got a lot of mess here. I probably should have used some of this space, but whatever. Negative 12, positive 2 is right here. Okay. And that's point P. The next one is Q, negative 10, 3, which is this one right here. Point Q. The next one is negative 7, positive 1, which is point R. And the last one is negative 5, positive 3, which is point, what was that, S, okay, S. So there's my shape for this one. So I'm going to color those in. Okay, and that's what my shape looks like. Now, it says that we're going to rotate this one around the origin, which is still over here, 180 degrees clockwise. Well, 180 degrees is always going to be the opposite side over here. So if we imagine it, if I took this one and rotated it 90 degrees, it would be up here, and then another 90 degrees, it would be down here. So really, all I'm going to do is take all these points that I had, and I'm just going to flip the whoa, the lights went out. Hold on. Ah! Come back on, lights. Lights. Thank you. Sorry. So I'm going to take all these points here and take their signs and flip their signs. Okay? So since this one was -7, +1, I'm going to go +7, -1. And that's my new R prime. Okay, point S is at -5, +3. So I'm going to go +5, -3. And that's point S prime. Okay, point Q is at -10, +3. So I'm going to go +10, -3 for that one. And that's Q prime. And then the last one, which was point P, which is at -12, +2. I'm going to go +12, -2. So that's my new point P. And then I connect those dots. Okay. And if you look, when I rotated it, we're going to focus on this line right here, okay? When I rotated it this way, that line would have been over here. And when I rotated that one that way, that flat line is right here, okay? So that makes it look like I actually rotated it, okay? All right, again, those are the more difficult ones, and those will probably take more practice, but we'll get that practice. So, all right, so 2 more, and I'm sorry this takes so long, but sometimes this does, and this video will last for 2 weeks or so. We got a lot of stuff we're doing. So the very last 2 we're doing. Dilate the square formed by the points 5, -7, so that's right here. And that's point N. 7, -7, so 7, -7 is right here. And it's a square, so that would make sense so far. And then 5, -9, so that's right here. That's point P. And then 7, -9, which is this one right here. So those are my 4 points. Okay? Hopefully you got that okay, even though my camera probably wasn't on it. And we're going to dilate this by a scale factor of 2. So real quick, we're just going to come over here, and all we're going to do that is take all these numbers and multiply them times 2. So this is going to be 10, -14, 14, -14, 10, -18, and 14, -18. So those are my new points. Okay? So the first one, 10, -14 is down right here. Oops, did I get the right point? No, right there. Sorry. Might want to show you where I am. So this is 10, -14 right here. All right. Now, if we think about it, this line was too long. Well, if we use a scale factor of 2, that means it's 4, or it's now going to be 4 because it's 2 times as long. So that means the next point, when we do that, should be this one right here, which, as you see, was 10, -18. So, I'm sorry, I take that back. 14, -18. This is point Q. I'm sorry, Q's down here. Anyway, let's just draw this whole square so you just see where it goes. This is where it's going to end up. Q prime, 14, -18 is right there. O prime was 14, -14. And then this one right here was point P, P prime. So that's what it should look like when we have dilated that one. All right, last one. I know you're really waiting for me to get done. So this one, we're going to dilate a triangle by a scale factor of 1/2. So that means you take all these points and you just cut them in half. So 6, 9 will be the new one, 7, 5, and then 3, 2. So let's go draw the original first. So the original was 12. 18, which was way up to almost the top. Let's see if hopefully I'm on 12 here. Let's see. Yep, 12, 18's right there. Okay. The next point was 14, 10, so 14 up to 10. Whoops, that's 15. Sorry, 14 and 10 is right here. And the next one was, what is that? 6, 4. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's my triangle, and I'm drawing it. Okay, and again, that triangle was RST. So RST. And again, my new points, we did all those just by cutting those numbers in half. So my new one's going to be 6 up to 9, which is right here. And that's point R prime. The other one's going to be 7, 5, which is right here. And that's point S prime. So this one became that one. And then the last one, point T, is 3, 2, which is right here. And when I draw that triangle right there, that's what it would look like. And since it's a since it's a two-dimensional object, it has length and width. I don't want you to think that when we dilated the shape in half that the area is half of it. It actually isn't. It's actually a fourth the size, because you don't want to think, well, we dilated it by half, that it's just the new area is half. It isn't, so please don't do that. And that's something we'll talk about later. So all that work gets you a free 100. I'm sorry the video was so long, but unfortunately this one kind of had to be to conclude all the stuff we were doing. So hopefully you are good at this. It should be pretty simple, we hope. And other than that, have a good day.